This lesson is going to cover mean, median, and mode. These are very common in statistics used to either summarize a data set in one value or find the center of that data set. So let's first start off with the mean. The mean is the average of the numbers in a data set. It's used to get an overall picture or idea of your data set, and it shows the amount that is typical for that group, summarizing it to a single value. The median is the center value of the data set. And this is best used when you're trying to find the center where you have a data set with outliers. And outliers are values that are different, much different than the other values in the data set. And the mode is the value that occurs the most. So there could be more than one mode in a data set, or there could be an instance where you don't have a mode at all. So this is used to find what is the most common thing in your data set. Okay, so let's move on. First, starting off with the mean. So let's take this one step at a time here. So when you think about mean, there are two ways to classify it. When you're talking about the population or the whole data set that you're looking at as a combined whole. So let's say you want to look at the average number of everyone in the United States and you want to find the average income. So if you get everyone in the United States income, that will be your population if you find the mean for them. Now, that's usually hard to do, to get a whole population's mean. So what you would usually do, and what a lot of things are being calculated as, would be your sample statistic. And that's going to be taking a subset of your population or a sample and finding the mean to kind of classify that group. Now, when you're calculating the mean, your sample statistic is going to be recognized by X bar. Now, there is a formula for X bar. The formula for X bar to find your mean is X bar is equal to your summation. This squiggle here is a capital sigma, which stands for summation of Xi, where Xi is your data points, divided by N. And N is the number of data points in your sample. So like I said before, the sigma, or the squiggle, stands for summation. And when you're doing a summation, you want to add those data points together. N is your sample size. It is how many values there are in the data set. So how many Xi's do you have? And for Xi, those are the actual data points in the set, where I is the index. So for example, if you look at 8, 4, 3, and 2 as your data set, X1 will be the first data point, 8. X2 is your second data point, 4. X3 is your third data point, 3. And X4 is your fourth data point, which is 2. So when you're doing a summation from Xi to N, this is saying to add up all of the data points in your data set to find your mean. So let's actually take a look at that. So in our data set, we have 8, 4, 3, and 2. The formula for X bar to find the mean is the summation of I is equal to 1 to N of the Xi. So from index 1 to index 4, we're going to add up all these values and then divide by however many there are. So there are 4 values here. So N is 4. So our summation from I is equal to 1 to 4 would be to do 8 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2. So that summation turns out to be 17. So X bar would be 17 divided by 4. And this will get you the final answer for your X bar. So let's go on to looking at median. Okay, so if we want to find the median, it's going to be a little bit different if the amount of values in your data set is even or odd. If it's odd, then it's a little bit simpler. So the first thing you want to do when you're finding the median of a data set is to put them in order from least to greatest, because the median is the center value. It's the center value of your data set. So if you want to order this set from least to greatest, you're going to have 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, and 12. In this case, we have 7 values. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is an odd amount of numbers in this data set. So in this case, you want to find the center. So the center, or the middle value of this data set, is 8. So the median value for this data set is 8. Now that's going to be a little bit different if you have an even set of numbers. So let's say you have an even set. In this case, we have 6 values here. So the median may not be so obvious. So to do that, you still want to order from least to greatest. So 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. But what you want to do now, if your data set is even, is to split this ordered data set into 2 parts. And once you do that, once you split it up evenly into 2 parts, your median is going to be where this line is. So it's the value that's in between these 2 numbers. That's going to be your median. So what you want to do is take the last value of your first half and the first value of your second half, add those together, and divide by 2 to get your median. Because you want to find what is the number in between these 2. So if we add together 4 and 8, we get 12. And if we divide that by 2 to find the median, in this case, it would be 6. So 6 would be a representative of this line because it's in between 4 and 8. So lastly, let's look at finding the mode. So if we want to find the mode is the number that occurs the most in a data set. So if you take a look at this data set, all the values occur one time except for 50. So in this case, 50 is your mode. If you have an instance where there are multiple values that occur the same number of times, and they occur more than others. So in this case, 5 occurs 2 times, 8 occurs 2 times, and 7 occurs 2 times. So if you have a case like this, then you actually have 3 modes. So 5, 8, and 7 are all modes in this case. Now, if you had one of these values that occurred 3 times, so let's say 7 occurred 3 times instead of 2, then the only mode would be 7 if that's the only one that occurred 3 times. So if the same amount occurs for multiple values and they are more than others, so 3 only occurs 1 time. So then now it's going to be 5, 8, and 7 to be your mode. Now, if 3 occurred twice again, and the rest of these occurred twice as well, then that would be a case of no mode, because they all occur the same amount of times. So like here, in this case, we have each of these occurring one time. So in this instance, there is no mode. So this is the difference between mean, median, and mode. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments or send me an email. Thank you.